difference this makes for our district, and frankly, what a difference it makes for our communities. Maria is inspiring the country to really look at what does it mean to have working people serving in Congress. And I could not be more proud and privileged to have her be our representative. And we're going to do everything we possibly can to make sure she stays there. But I'm going to talk about that later. But with no further ado, I want to introduce you as Congresswoman. Yes.
Thank you so much, Teresa and Jim, for hosting and putting so much energy and time into this. And it is so good to be back, and it's so good to see you guys. I mean, it was, I think one of the takeaways is, being a member of Congress and talking to other freshmen, we had a very small team of people that got me to Congress, and so many of you were part of that, and I am just so grateful for you for not listening to the pundits, for seeing me and for seeing the opportunity and doing the work it took to do that. Thank you. I can never say thank you enough. And I just want to impress on you the real sense of weight of duty that I feel to be effective in Congress for you and to represent your interests and to listen to you and to be accountable to you and our communities that I do see more and more do not have the representation in Congress. They do not understand the impact of the legislation they're proposing on rural communities, on the trades, on small businesses. It's so funny, I run into colleagues, I'm like, oh, I see that you're, sorry, I sound like a toad, but I run into colleagues, and I'm like, oh, your bio says you're a small business owner, like, what's your business? Oh, we have a family, brokerage firm. Oh. A little bit different, and so, it's just such an honor to be able to represent you and the real sense of care that I've felt from all of you. It's just been this real sense of community. I know so many of you have asked me sincerely how I'm doing and how Congress has been treating me and what it's like and how my family is. And I love my husband's been phenomenal. My parents have been phenomenal. When I'm in DC, they come down and help watch my son, who's 18 months old, and who's newly in daycare. I drive, I or a member of my family drive 4 hours a day to get my son to a daycare in Skamania County. Wow. And, that real reality of daycare deserts and childcare deserts is something that's missing, I think, from many people's experience of being a legislator. And so, I'm grateful to be embedded in my community. I'm here as much as possible. Voting, we're either in DC voting Monday to Thursday or Tuesday to Friday, and I am flying home. You bet your ass I am home. I need to hear from you. I need to be in touch with you all. That is the only way that I can do my job effectively. And so I commit to being here and to listening to you all. I think we've hit 5 out of my 7 counties in this first month in Congress. 26 PUD commissioners, 12 county, I think we're 16 county commissioners, over a dozen mayors. It's important to me to be present and to, I will be doing an in-person town hall every month. And it's just important to me to take the tough questions because that's what it means to be a representative, to be accountable. I think one interesting thing about coming out of such a dogfight of a campaign is that it made the speaker's vote feel like, the playground. And I think one of the sort of on the inside baseball discussion about what it's like to be a member of Congress right now, when you look at the bills that they're passing, they are just junk food. It's these bills that are condemning the horrors of socialism and that are things that, eggs are $9 a dozen right now. Why are we talking about what DC City Council is doing? Literally, that was the big drama vote we had this month, was about what DC is doing with their legal code. We don't, let me say that that's not anyone I've run into's top priority.
Not even one, huh?
It is that's the reality of them having a 4-member majority. They can't get the substantive legislation on what are we going to do about our schools, what are we going to do about our small businesses, what are we going to do about the woods. They can't get substantive bills to the floor. And there was a big bill that was being proposed. It was about supporting our police officers. And they didn't bring it to the floor because they realized too many Democrats were going to vote for it. And they didn't want to give us the, they don't want to give us opportunities for demonstrating the unity that we actually exist. And that's one of the things I realized, like when you get these people in a room and the cameras aren't there, they actually have much more nuanced views than they're willing to present. Because being crazy is an effective fundraising tool. And I'm just really grateful to you all and to the relationships we've built here, because I feel like I can just be myself and we can be normal. And when I have a tough vote, I think about you all and I think about what your priorities are, and am I going to get dinged for voting about DC in a certain way? And I think about what our shared values are, and I'm so grateful to being for being accountable to you all and not to the party, not to the real big donors. I mean, this was a really, really unusual path to making it to Congress, and it was because all of you put a lot of sweat equity into it, and you put your resources in, and the thing that is exciting is that this feels like it has the opportunity for being catalytic. Like, I don't think this needs to be a one-off model for how can Democrats and how can moderates be relevant in the trades and in rural communities. Like, many, many senior members of Congress have come up to me and asked me out to lunch, and I've been invited to be keynote speakers at several messaging meetings, and just the reality of if we want to be relevant, if we want to move our country in a direction where we can affect change, this is what it looks like. And so it just, I'm so grateful to you all for providing me that independence. And, it is a fun job. It is so what you didn't see with that speaker's vote is I actually was really, really close to having a coalition of 5 Republicans and 5 Democrats get together and vote for a unity candidate. That was really, I didn't pull it off, but we got close. And I built some really great relationships in the process. And I think that's what it's going to take. And, many, both leadership, I got dinged from both leadership sides for that. I got, that puts more of a target on me, for both sides. It's also true watching Mitch McConnell, for one, it was very gratifying to see an empty chair with the Chaos Caucus. But I could also see, Kevin kind of giving me the side eye, because the way that he avoids this sort of fiasco and embarrassment in 2 years is by I am the Democrat. I'm the only freshman that flipped the Trump plus 4.5, 5 district. I'm the only freshman. And I definitely hesitate to say flipped, because there are many, many sort of Democrats who think that it's about messaging and think that I did something tricky. It's about finding different candidates. Yes. It's not about messaging. It's not about having better consultants. It's about having candidates that live like normal Americans.
And talk about it.
Yeah. A lot of DC talent has been very excited about this. A lot of young people in DC want to be a part of a party that's relevant in rural communities. They come from rural communities, and so we had the cream of the crop apply to work in my office, and no one I offered a job to turned me down. So we have a phenomenal team. My chief of staff is she's a retired paratrooper. She's also sommelier. And she was teaching congressional procedure. She's a law professor at Georgetown Law when I got her. You know, she like took a major pay cut to come work with me and help us be effective. You know, God forgive me, I took some of our senator's staff. It's
okay.
You know, people that have Washington State roots that really believe in the work that we want to do, and so we've attracted a really strong pool of talent. I'm very grateful to be working with. And they're coming out to Skamania County next week. So we're doing our first staff retreat. I would say I have the strongest freshman team on the hill. We are very well positioned to be effective and to be writing legislation. I think I might have been the first freshman to have an amendment approved on the. So I had an amendment ruled as in order. I didn't quite get it passed because minority, but so we have got a great lead shop. We've got a great. I'm very excited about some of the. You know, I sent off a letter to the Forest Service talking about how many board feet we're getting off the woods. Had our SBA administrator come out today and we talked about the regulatory hurdles facing small businesses, especially businesses in the trades buying their property. The things that I really think are the slow growth of, like the slow growth model of our economy. That's how we actually have, you know, geopolitical independence and financial independence and strong communities in 20 years. You know, we've got to be making these investments now, and so I just can't say thank you enough to you all. I'm very grateful, and I am so excited. I would love to take. I think we have time for some questions. So, yeah.
Well, can you speak up a little bit too? We can't hear you back here.
Okay, yeah. I got every. I swear it's not COVID, it's not RSV. I took all the tests, but I still sound like a toad. So, but I will repeat the questions out louder too.
But you have health care now.
Yeah.
So I wanted to thank you for taking Corey Torpa as your guest.
Yes.
We there for Corey. So Corey Torpa, many of you probably know, is the shop teacher at Kalama High School, and just the salt of the earth. Like, where do we get more Corey Torpas? And it was just, you know, people like Corey that like light a fire and you to work harder. I'm so proud to have him in my district.
Just having returned from 7 weeks of international travel, I find there's great concern with Putin and things that are going on. Just today, Moldova's government collapsed, and you, as in the House of Representatives, have control of the purse, and there are people saying that are turning in xenophobe. So let him go. I would like to precaution anyone that thinks that Putin is going to stop. Once he got Crimea, now he's in the Ukraine. My friends in Estonia are very worried. The Finns are gritting their teeth and saying, well, we taught you a lesson in 1940, don't repeat it. But that entire area is very concerned, and I would like to think there's some common sense within the House that the xenophobes don't win on this, the pro-Putin party.
Yeah, it is concerning to see the pro-Putin propaganda going around, for sure. And I think we're really makes you question the timing of the Chinese balloon. I'm just gonna say that, you know, dividing and conquering. But it's really now more than ever important that we are focused on, you know, the rise in autocratic regimes. You know, and it's like what price, you know, these folks will die defending their democracy.
Yes.
You know, and how much further do we let that spread? Because you're right, if Ukraine falls, Eastern Europe is in danger, and if Eastern Europe's in danger, Europe's in danger. Europe's in danger, we're in danger. So thank you, Jerry, for bringing that up. Don, yeah.
Dan, but close enough. Again, I'm so happy you won. And
Well, thanks for
Corey
loaning me your truck in the parade.
I did too.
Yeah.
But is there an investigation going into Joe Kent's dark side? to your knowledge?
Yeah, so it was funny. More and more of his like friends from high school and junior high and elementary school have been like reaching out and talking about what their from their perspective what's going on. And some of them are forensic accountants. There's a very troubling question of who paid Joe Ken.
Yes.
You know,
Because he's already said he's gonna run.
Joe Ken is running again. He's running
I'm
again.
just hoping that we're
Yeah.
getting in front of it.
Yeah.
Was the
Thank
FEC
you.
gonna investigate it?
Well, you know, there's a sign up in my financial compliance office. FEC jail is real jail. And he is really testing the limits of that theory. Yeah.